Hello, my name is Adam Lanier, and I hope you're doing well today. Today I want to discuss adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. It's a topic that I myself had no idea about or had never heard of until I watched a documentary by James Redford called Paper Tigers. And what the documentary is about an alternative school in Walla Walla, actually. And the principal in the school, he'd been in education for over 20 years. And he used what he called the hammer and nail approach to discipline. His first year in this alternative school, he said basically was a nightmare, and that he had close to 900 suspensions. Kids were just out of control, and they just were not doing well. At the invitation of someone, he went and saw a speaker, a psychologist, who brought up ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences. And with this, he found that when someone who has suffered from these experiences, these ACEs, are put into situations that cortisol in their brain is released, and they're physiologically not able to study, do schoolwork, or function, basically. And it was then he had a realization that there was a different way to education or discipline in the educational field. And that led him into further research into ACEs. You may hear another phrase is called trauma, the trauma-based approach to discipline, which also works. Here you see the ACEs pyramid, and this is adverse childhood experiences. This is disrupted neurological development, social, emotional, and cognitive impairment, adoptive of health risk behaviors, disease, obesity, and social problems, and sadly, early death. And these are all caused, or possible causes, from having an experience of adverse childhood experiences. There's a test that you can take. The CDC has produced a test, as well as this pyramid, to identify. The test is done on a scale from 0 to 9. 0 being that you don't have any adverse childhood experiences. 9 meaning that you have the maximum allowed. And the higher your score, the chances you have of anything on this triangle happening to you. The different types of ACEs can be verbal abuse, neglect, loss of a parent, either divorce or abandonment, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and things that like this prevent, or they hurt a student or a child later in their adult life. It may be situations where you see kids or people who aren't functioning as well, and you think, well, what's wrong with them? Well, sadly, it's no fault of their own. It's experiences they dealt with. If they have experienced and they haven't been dealt with, the trauma-based approach to ACEs is becoming more popular, and I find it important in education, in the educational field, because there's many students that deal with these that people don't know about. And if you use the hammer and nail approach, you just won't accomplish anything. There are strategies to help solve the problems of ACEs in the community, which I have here, Preventing ACEs, which you have strengthen economic support for families, promote social norms that protect against violence and adversity, ensure a strong start for children, teach skills, connect youth to caring adults and activities, and intervene to lessen immediate long-term harms. The biggest thing I want people to take away from this is that it may be a situation where it's not your fault that, let's say you have a risky behavior. It's a situation where that you're unaware of it. As an adult, you're dealing with issues as a child. These strategies focus on changing norms of the environment. That's the biggest aspect of it. These strategies are intended to work in combination and to reinforce other things to help prevent ACEs from happening in the future. One of the biggest things is to strengthen economic support for families. Research shows that parents facing financial hardships are put into higher pressure situations stress, and depression, which may lead to more physical abuse in the house toward their children, which is it's a sad fact, but it's true. Again, about 4 in 10 children under the age of 18 live in poverty in the United States. There's actually another study done by the CDC, and they found that in 23 states, 61% of the population had at least one ACE. And that's only 25 states, so you can only imagine if you did the whole 50 states, the number you would come up with. And part of that was because of the low economic situation that there are. Public education campaigns is a big, the CDC and other agencies, agencies are huge proponents of education campaigns to help parents understand the cycle of ACEs and how it may affect children down the road. Programs such as Green Dot and Coaching and Boys to Men are things to help students as well, to help children as well, to help get about. And mentorship is very important as well. I appreciate your time today. And again, like I said, if there's anything that can be done to help with these ACEs, please do it for your sake, for your children's sake. And if you're in the educational field, please be aware of this and talk to your counselors, or if you have a social worker in your school. But if anything, please take the time to learn on yourself. Again, it may not be the child's fault. It just may be the situation that they're in. Thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed this.